well, welcome to another episode of Incoming, my weekly look back at the week's historical miniature releases. This is episode 7, recording on Friday, June the 12th, 2009, and as always I'm your host, Neil Shuck. Well, for some strange reason, this week has been a bumper release for vehicles, and this week's top 10 reflects this with no less than 6 vehicles in this week's top 10. So let's get right on with it. At number 10 we have one of a series of new releases this week from a new company. This is Wartime Miniatures, a new company from Australia, and this is part of their new 20mm modern range. This particular vehicle is the Bushmaster, which is currently being used by the Australian Army in Afghanistan and Iraq. A lovely vehicle to complement some of their new troops, and we'll see more of this company later in the show. At number 9 we have the first of 3 releases this week from HLBS Co., which again per HLBS has been beavering away busily over the past few weeks, and now we're starting to see the results of this. So lots of vehicles coming out at the moment. This is a Russian 2S9, which is a command vehicle fitted with a 120mm mortar, or howitzer. This vehicle was originally designed for use with the Russian Airborne and saw extensive service during their campaign in Afghanistan. A fantastically cleanly sculpted, well detailed and sharp looking vehicle from HLBS. And again we'll be seeing more of these later. Next up we have a vehicle which at the very last minute usurped one of TAG's other new releases this week, and to be honest I prefer this to their Pony Express Rider. This is a new 28mm Rolls-Royce armoured car. Fits in very well with my current interest in World War One. This is just a great looking model. So good stuff this week from the Assault Group. Okay, now number 7, and finally we have a figure as opposed to a vehicle. These are some of the new American GIs that are being produced by Darkson Designs for their AEWW2 game. Now, despite the fact that AEWW2 is an alternative reality World War II game, it does require some standard troopers, and so they've released some of their first standard GIs. Very nicely sculpted and detailed, these, although I think my only criticism would be is that their M1 rifles do look a little bit oversized. But it's always nice to see some new infantry. Now, I featured some of the next company's miniatures in a previous show. These are new 28mm figures from Immortal Miniatures. These are Kushites, which are to go with their Archimedean Persian army. We have 3 packs of these released this week. You have a command unit, a group of spearmen and a group of archers. A continued good range from Immortal Miniatures. I especially like some of their archers. Some very nice dynamic poses amongst this lot. Into the top 5, and we're back to modern vehicles. Second of this week's release is from HLBS Co. and another Russian vehicle. This is a BTR-70, again in 1/48 scale. This one of the workhorses of the modern Russian army, and I think you'll agree again, excellently detailed, just a stunning looking model from HLBS Co. Number 4, another modern vehicle, this time switching nationalities to British, and also switching scales, as this is 20mm. And it's one of several new released vehicles this week from SNS Models. This is a Jackal patrol vehicle, another vehicle that's currently in service with the British Army in Afghanistan and Iraq. This is a simple resin and metal miniature, nicely detailed again, and another great addition to 20mm modern ranges. And continuing with the 20mm modern theme, we switch back to Wartime Miniatures. These are the figures to go with the vehicle we saw earlier, and these are the new 20mm modern Australian infantry. 2 packs currently available. You've got a modern infantry squad in standard equipment, and you've also got a slightly smaller squad all wearing boonie hats. Fantastic looking figures these, a nice variety of poses, and this really looks promising for this new Australian company. I think with these releases and also the Afghans they've released this week, I think this is a really promising start for Wartime Miniatures, worth keeping an eye on. Number 2, we're back to vehicles, we're staying with the modern theme, and we're back to HLBS Co. This I think is by far the best of the models, although that BTR-70 is pushing it hard now. But this is the BVS-10 Viking, which they released at Partisan. This is the first time we've actually seen some pictures of it. This is an armoured vehicle, probably most famously in service with the Royal Marines at the moment. But this is just a stunning looking vehicle. I mean, throughout the show I've been applauding the detailing and the crisp lines that Richard Kemp's sculpts have shown, and this is just the same again except more so. A fantastic release of an unusual vehicle, This is all their other vehicles you've seen this week, priced at £25, absolute steal, I think. Finally, number one, we're back to figures, and we've completely changed period as we're back to Ancients. These actually came out right at the back end of last week, too late to be included on last week's show. And these are some new Immortal Cavalry and Cataphracts from First Corps. So if you're into the successor period, I think these are simply stunning. Just the horse poses, the detailing on the barding, the riders, everything just gels together to give a series of superb looking models. Not a fantastic variation in the pose of the riders, but just the overall impression that these figures give together, I think just really hits you and makes them look superb. So Ancient Cavalry win the day again. So that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the show and maybe even spotted something you liked. I'll be back next week with another list of my favourite releases. Take care until then. See you soon. Bye.